Miramar, 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 what will you hold for us this time around? We nearly got the joyous Southern South Island ending.
It was close.
Didn't happen, sadly.
Thank God.
Avangar will be happy, though, because it did work out in their favour. They see him get a win. We see him do a lot better than what we have in previous days. But it's time for them to show that I don't need to see him get a win again, but I need to see a game again where we're sat there really confident, really consistent. They actually got themselves in the game and actually saying, we're back. Not this, like, it can't be the ones where we've seen them before, Toby, where they go out in 16th place and then they come back and then they just drop off again. No, this has to be the win into, like, at least the top 8, top 6, getting kills alongside it. If that doesn't happen here, then I'll go out on a limb and say I'm really skeptical of them making it into top 12 by the end of this.
We saw how close it was. I mean, them and 2 teams below, it's just 3 points separating with both 13th and 14th tied at 155, right? So things really, really are insanely close. And honestly, I mean, sure, right now they're in 12th place, but you want to go into next week with somewhat of a buffer. I mean, you want to keep these 2 last games really, really going well. And as you said, I mean, if they can get themselves some placement points, for me, I'm molding for the kills. We know the aggressive Avangar. We know how good they are in that. But what they've struggled with, and what they struggled with to me in the beginning of the group stages as well, was the whole, we know we're good at the late game stuff. They showed right here. Once they're 4 guys alive, past phase 5, they'll wreck people, and they do that, right? But it's getting there with 4 guys alive. That's the tricky part. They tend to lose people in rotations. It's not that they don't scout. It's just I don't think they take enough time because they don't do the whole, like, when do we ever see them be miles out in the blue anymore? They don't do that.
It's not happened again.
They've decided to go center earlier, which can make sense. I mean, if it's of course based on how you play and what you try and do, but I feel like they could take some more time, and because if they know that's where they strive, having the higher numbers and just steamrolling people, then play around that.
Well, that's what they're going to have to try and do this time around. It's not too bad a play, all things considered, at the end of the world. One other team, though, Besiktas, yes, they're in top 8 at the moment, but they are right on the edge of it. And if they get another game where they go out like 14th, we just had from them, this is where it becomes scary for them because so many of these teams are jumping up, saying, hey, look, we're right at your heels. We want that placement. Thank you very much.
It can be extremely dangerous. And Besiktas, I mean, arguably is one of the, on paper, most talented teams in at least as of performance and what they've been able to accomplish, really, really, really far up there. They haven't really. I mean, they've gotten things going. Yesterday they had some good performances too, but it's just, I don't know. It's kind of the same story as with Avangar. They aren't doing things on a consistent enough basis. They had 1 week where they racked up a ton of points, and I was like, holy cow! How did you manage to accomplish that? And then the next week it just goes back down to the whole kind of okay, kind of not okay performances where you're like, oh, I guess it was just a 1 week thing. But let's hope they can get things going the last 2 games here.
Fair circle.
That is a fair circle.
We'll take it. Directly in the center pretty much. We'll keep a lot of teams happy in this. Interestingly enough, though, obviously this far western side, down onto the south as well, Valdemar, that kind of area, very empty. Normally we'd see Zen around there potentially, but the plane didn't allow for it. So are we going to see any teams maybe get their loot going and try and take some of that spot over towards this western side earlier than some of these teams from the north can rotate down?
I would be surprised to see anybody make their way all the way down there other than potentially Gamerlegion, just because they like to loot on the southern side of Picado already. So they'll go down there. You can see them rotating as well. And other than that, I mean, not so much. I mean, Se7en, they opted to jump early, didn't want to fly all the way down towards Los Leones. They're going to have to rotate in from the north. And the issue with that is that you have Riddle up there, you have Quickmath, and then you have We Need a Home. And it's the whole like rock formation and San Martin blocking off so many rotations. So you have to maneuver all the way around the eastern side, all the way around the west. You can't really just go straight north to south when you're in the center. And that's like a way you can actually drop. Just thought of it right now.
Yeah.
Whenever you go center on Miramar as a map as a whole, like when you go within the 2 grids on the edge, everything is horizontal. Whereas when you want to rotate out on the edges, everything is vertical, right? So if you try to go vertical in the middle, that's what normally gets you killed.
True. We'll have to see how it pans out for a lot of these teams. For AK, they're going to be a team that I want to see do better, because Miramar's where I remember the early points we were saying, whoa, okay, wait a second, 4AK, they're delivering, they're able to do it.
Yeah.
But they are still right down the bottom at the moment. They've got a lot of catching up to do. It's a huge road ahead of them if they want to try and come back into this. But I think they have the skills to make it happen. It's just whether it's going to come in time anymore, because it's started to slow down quite a bit for these guys.
Also for me, I mean, now we're 35 games into it, right? We sit and we look at all the teams individually, and off of what we've seen 4AK do in the finals here, and I'm thinking, if they were to make it top 12, which 4 teams right now in this tournament have played worse than what we've seen 4AK do? And it's not because I'm saying 4AK is bad by any means at all. They've done insane things, and we've all seen it happen. It's just right now, with the momentum these teams are bringing and how they're playing right now, I cannot name you 4 teams in this group that haven't done better than what 4AK have been able to pull off. So therefore, I cannot see why they should be in the top 12 if I cannot even come up with 4 teams that they should be able to surpass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Well, only time will tell, Toby. And
for sure. I mean, we've seen crazy things happen. We've seen teams that have done absolutely nothing. Moonwolf, great example. They had in the group stage a 2-week period of slumber. Honestly, they were sitting in 14th place, and all of a sudden they end up in 3rd. I mean, absolutely insane.
Oh, no. Baited.
Oh, so tells Sarah, like, oh, can I get that bike up? I guess not. Arco is there waiting for him. Oh.
Back and forth. Takes a lot of damage, Tozera. That's not the way you play it, mate. I see the effort. I see what you're trying to do there, but that's such a huge risk, and you're on your own.
You just got shot at.
He's like, but I can escape.
Just got shot at.
I believe I can get to full speed in time. And also, you got up against Occo. He don't miss shots like that.
That's one thing, but he just got shot at. I mean, sure, he didn't see exactly where he was shooting from, but it's rather loud when the guy's right next to you and he shoots. You've got to anticipate that he's nearby. There was a very small to slim to not existing chance that he would have made it out of there. Maybe he probably should have taken the fight not knowing how many opponents he was up against rather than try and drive away.
Well, Missa is going to be very happy with that little supply drop that he got there. Just in the right time for him, and this could be something that's huge for Quickmath to come into the early fights here and take an advantage against some other teams, but they need to stick together as a team when they get engaged in these fights.
Yeah, and they're rotating early on as well. We see in Silenzo and the guys fast and furious down towards the center of the circle, but of course seems like they're wanting to stay up on the hillsides, so at least for a little while longer. Sinsen taking bullets in towards him. We can see everybody making their rotations on in. You talked about earlier how, because of the plane path, James, that the entire southern side was pretty open. And should this next circle shift down in that direction, I'm hoping that the players have the same knowledge that you do, because even though they can't see what we can see, that's if they can put 2 and 2 together, that should be them getting that info.
I hope they have better knowledge than I do, Toby. Let's be honest.
I hope most people do.
Whoa. That was,
boom, shots fired.
That was cheap, man. That was super cheap.
You did line it up for me. I'm sorry. I kind of had to.
No longer friends.
No. Were we ever?
Here we
okay,
go.
let's.
All right. Open commentary call. Hit me up on Twitter if I need a co-commentator. I will remove this bumbling idiot. If you know slightly more than Toby, it is a huge improvement, but it doesn't take much. At Banks Esports on Twitter, tell me if you want to commentate. There's now free space in Ukraine. You've just got to put up with living with me.
I'm not even going to say anything.
Yep, you just wrecked yourself, son. That's it. I was nice. I was allowing you to banter me, and you took it too far.
I took it too far. I didn't know when to stop. I'm sorry. Besiktas, they don't know when to stop either. They're going to full speed forward, make their way in towards Moonwolf. Arco, he got a kill on towards Tosera early. But I don't think they want to run into a full 4-man strong Besiktas this early on in the game.
Yeah, definitely not. I wouldn't be a fan of that one to start things off with. But Arco doing what he does best, just landing shots regardless. Will at least put Lux on the floor for now. But they're still outnumbered in this. Washout's taken some damage, so they need to play this smart. Resu is close by, but Desperados, they're close as well, and they want to engage in it. There's going to be fights across the board here. As Washout, he is going to struggle, and he is going to go down. Simsy on the hunt, and he's going to try and avenge his fallen teammates.
And patience in these engagements can pay off so well. But right now, it's not really getting anything good for Besiktas, because both Edgicast and Rezo are making their way up. The Ultra does get that nade on point. There's going to be one in, but look at the deep from where?
How far away is this happening?
What?
There must have been like a window he just started to spray through, but Moonwolf, they are being applied pressure here. Edukos trying to hold on to it and do the best work he can. Ultra is all alone though. This is not ideal. This should have never been able to happen.
That was a double knock and then some. Had he been able to pull off the triple, that would have been absolutely insane. Nate, did it go in? Rude camera angles, and it did! Resu gets the nade in, gets himself the finish off Desperado. They came in to get some revenge on towards the Moonwolf players, but they're long gone. Resu's all by himself now, and he's gonna send it as fast as he can.
Oh no.
One hit.
No, that's not what you needed.
Don't spin
lose
out.
speed. Resu just about escaping there, but it cost both Besiktas and Moonwolf so much. An interesting fight. Desperado wanted to jump in on it at the last moment and get some revenge, and well, all they did was scare everyone away.
Besiktas looked like they had it in their grasp, but Edgicast 1v3ing. I guess playing 1v3 and getting down 2 players, what a last stand for him. And then Reza to finish things off with that nade right on the money from a distance to now. But Factix starting to get shots in his direction. We already lost more players than we did for so long last game, considering that this was the fair circle, James.
Fair circles don't always mean fair games.
Not at all.
It can quickly turn around. There's a lot of nades being used here from Northern Lights. Give it on the floor. Jupesiger's teammate's just gone down. Are they going to be aware how close he is? Another nade goes out, and now Perfect says, wait a second, what was that? Did someone throw something?
Yeah.
Oh, you're still around here. Let me see if I can find you. Quizzy's on the other side as well, and Quizzy's going to take down O'Connell. Giveit's the next one to be finished off, and this is not looking good. Only Aros remains.
Northern Lights wants that first place spot back, and they want it back this game, that's for sure. The amount of momentum they're carrying into these fights, they do not care who they go up against. They'll send it full speed forward. New circle popped as well, and we're going out west, so the open fields on the southern side of Picado are in it, and Chumacera is as well. And all these teams that are currently out east, including Northern Lights that we saw just before, they'll have to, find somewhere to lay low inside the circle, or find somewhere to go guns blazing. I don't know, that's of course depending on your playstyle and what suits you, but losing Besiktas this early on, we talked about them coming into the game. What can they do? What can they deliver? Well, that was not the start they wanted, despite getting some kills with it.
Yeah, this is a scary position for these guys to fight from. You think of it, they're right on the edge. 8th place could be whittled away, and that's the money, right? You want to be in for the cash. I'm not just talking about hitting top 12 at that point. They were close enough, but that's a 14th and a 16th place in the opening games. And what you were saying about Northern Lights just there, right? The previous game, 4th place with 11 kills, and they've just started off with a huge amount of kills this time around, and they've still got 4 alive. That's the most interesting part.
They get to take the engagements in smart ways. The way they're playing it here, they seem to always have control. That's the thing. I mean, they never really lose. I mean, of course, we cannot hear what they're saying, but they just never seem, to me at least, to be out of control.
True.
They always have a good knowledge. They always seem to have a good wits about where their opponents are positioned, and they play with that knowledge. I mean, some teams they can get all the info they need, but they don't really know how to use it in the sense of taking the engagement accordingly. But Northern Lights always seems to get into the better positions and use the terrain better once they do have all the info they need.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's a lot less scrappy, right?
Exactly.
When you're looking at what Northern Lights can do in some of these engagements.
It's like, boom, one down, good, we go on to the next. Boom, him down as well. It's not that, oh, wait, did we get him? No, because even though we can't hear them, sometimes you can just tell by the way that, first, like the movement, the mouse movement and stuff as well. It's just, you can tell that someone is not being told what's going on or what he's supposed to do.
I love how as you were explaining that, they just decided to run into each other with the vehicles the whole time as well.
That's another thing. Vehicles I didn't talk about at all. I was talking about shooting and fighting.
Oh no, though. Perfectix is going to be found. He's going to be taken out of the car and wiped out straight away here by Winside. But now Northern Lights, look how they react, instantly getting out. Want to take this fight, want to deal away with Winside instantly here. And remember, this is no benefit to any of them because it's currently being fought within the blue.
Yeah, you have to make that move forward. Quizzy, do it for the Reddit.
Oh.
You just want to see it happen, right?
Yeah, it's just
I
it's
feel
one of
so
those
bad
ones
for
if
the
it lands,
player.
you just go, oh.
Yeah. That's when we react like 8 does in the pre-game video, you know?
Oh,
like
yes,
the whole crazy
yes,
scream.
Yeah.
Circle goes north, and we're headed down into the open. Fortunately, the open does come with compounds, so if you're quick at maneuvering, if you can scout your way forward, there's a chance that you can find yourself some hard cover. But with teams making those rotations already, and some teams, potentially splitting off a bit, that can be hard to cover, hard to obtain.
Quickmath are living the dream right now. They are not having to move.
Nope.
Avangar about to push their way in, as you can see. Se7en are going to go for a longer rotation and head down south first before they come into it. They're already aware of where 4 AKs sit, but they're playing a 2-2 split at the moment. PGA Team are going to have to work their way down. Remember, it does leave you open to quite a few shots as you're trying to make your way down that specific part of it. Winside, they're going to now opt to go similar direction where PGA Team and 4AK are, while Northern Lights, they're just going to opt to go straight in now, come out of Los Leones, and work their way in from this eastern side.
They looted here, they rotated through here, they saw it was clear, no shots have been fired, they haven't heard any vehicles, or why not just go back to something you know was open. Use the info, as we said before, use the info you have to your advantage, and they're doing it right now.
Now Desperado. Their game last time around, 10 kills and a 5th place. A strong placement from them alongside all of those kills, but then they bit off more than they could chew. They ended up getting whittled away ever so slowly because they were engaging on multiple fronts.
Yeah.
This time around, what can they do? They've got a nice spot in the circle, but it's slightly more open than some of the other teams.
It is a very open compound. It's hard to hold everyone off because there are hills around it. So should a team try and push you, normally what you get is the benefit of other teams third-partying. But here, you'd be pretty much on your own. Zoekt Een Naam and Avangar now scoring off against one another from fighting neighbors standing from behind. Eros trying to line some shots up from inside Picado.
Eros could be the one that really turns this around in Zen's favor because Avangar were not expecting that.
See, Aserin, Resu, and Eros are all inside Picado. So 2 solos and Aserin inside Picado. Just, I mean, they're just sharing. Sharing is caring, you know?
They're like, there's enough room, lads. There's only 3 of us. We can make this work.
Yet the 2 solos inside the same building.
Are they?
Yeah.
I thought they were a little bit further away, but no. Oh dear. Of all things to happen.
Got to sit and grind it through. It's a long grind if you want to stay alive as a solo player with 51 players still up on their feet, especially when you're this far out on the edge of the circle. But, of course, we've seen crazier things happen before, and who's to say what placement either Moonwolf or no tag team will get here.
Deez and Nemrith, they've got Nail up on the side as well. Got to be careful. Landing a good few shots there. So much damage being done. Gifted Rue. If a nade goes off now, this could be devastating. Deez, can he get one off far enough? Does he even have any to use? Another headshot going to be landed there as well. I don't really care about the circle at this point because I want to know what's going on with this fight. As PGA Team are continuing to take shots at Winside. The new circle has popped. Quickmath stay with inside it. So did Desperado and We Need a Home. 4AK instantly got themselves in. And there's that nade going off. And somehow, it's not taking them down. It's being held up by the car.
I think it exploded inside the car, the other nade. It bounced on the backside and went inside it. What the hell? Yep, what? All on the wrong side. That is a car made of something I want to have something made out of. That is, that's pretty bulletproof, I'd say.
That says the PGA Team as well that, okay, definitely no one hiding behind this car because they're not going to know for sure that that's the case.
That is a very, very, very unfortunate scenario, and even more so, Gifted actually does manage to get the Resabon towards the boom, so they're all going to be able to make the runoff.
PGA Team committed so much to that. A lot of utility used, a lot of shots taken, and nearly knocks coming in. But Vascu, he'll find more than knocks. He's going to get the deep down from Northern Lights. So Zen, they were already fighting up against Avangar. They seem to have left that one away. Northern Lights still trying to work their way into this new circle, and Zen are going to be the ones to try and stop them from doing it.
You can see Millman trying to hold the angle, looking down towards Riddle. They're on the edge as well, and Riddle is taking territory that they could potentially want to play later on. We do have this road cutting the circle, well, somewhat in half, and you want to make sure that there's some sort of room on the other side that you can cross over to. But right now, seems like Tornado Energy can't really find any.
And Tornado have to be careful, right? Because they could be pushing straight into the trap that 4AK have set for them. Those two were battling quite a long time on the previous game. Funny that they'll meet again in a very different scenario, a very different position. 7 with all 4 alive at this stage is a good sign, but still, there's so many players and teams alive. It's 18 minutes in, and we're still very much alive on who could take this game. As Desperado going to start shooting once again. It's Calvin Klein to take down Krabic. Now, they won't be able to finish him off, but the positions will be known as PEL Derek's going to take a few shots. Does manage to get the kills in, and Winside, 3 of them down already. Only 1 more remains.
Tried to make a rough rotation through. Didn't work out for the Moon. Is able to stay put, but for how much longer we won't know. All by himself with just a shack to play. Eris did the exact same thing. Had to leave Picado at some point. Managed to do so and get himself into, well, I mean, it's covered for now. But for how long? We'll wait and see.
Resu's probably thinking, God damn it, Eris, can we not just be friends and still stick together? We shared a house in Picado. Can we maybe share that one shack? Because I'm still not in the circle and you got miles ahead of me.
That would have been nice, wouldn't it? Okay, bro, he's miles out in the blue. I'm not sure if he's just chilling or what's going on. Quizzy is running around, trying to maneuver around the circle. He's left his teammate. Now, okay, bro is indeed shooting, so it's not that he AFK'd or anything. He's trying to hold off Zoekt Een Naam while the circle is pushing further and further away from him.
And at phase 4 blue as well, I'm not a fan of it. Quizzy's going to try and work his way in ever so slowly.
The thing for Quizzy is, does okay, bro, just take this one and say, Quizzy, I will stay up here so that you can have a chance in the circle? Or does Quizzy try to maneuver around to sort of potentially make a play opportunity for okay, bro to make a leap from up there? I don't know if he has a vehicle. Hope that he does, because as we said, it is quite a bit of a journey to get down from that side.
Clip back to his old tricks again, landing it with the bolts. Melman's going to find his head cleanly ripped off, as okay, bro will just nade himself out. He doesn't want anyone stealing that away. So it will just be Quizzy to solo it up, and the new circle's popped. We're going all the way up north. That's benefited Avangar. Quickmath is still inside of it. Gamerlegion as well got a compound, which is going to be huge for them. And Riddle right up at the far north, but also near the crate.
And what we have to look at right now is the 5 teams that have to cross this road. And they are not just 5 teams. They're 5 teams with 3 or more players alive.
6 actually now.
Make that 5 teams with all their 4 players alive, actually.
You've got Tornado, 4AK, PGA team, We Need a Home, 7, and Desperado. Okay, they've already crossed the road, but they've still got that
they have to make the run.
They've still got to make that huge open run.
So all these 4-man teams have to make a push, and I just cannot see where they push, because you can see it right here. It's hills. It's on the other side of 2 roads, and it's not going to be easy at all.
It's never fun if it's easy, that's for sure. That's the name of the game, right?
Yeah.
You got to deal with what's put in front of you. And Quizzy, he's got to deal with a lot of pressure being applied by Zen. The moment he pokes out, he's like, oh, okay, I'm not safe here. Where do I go next?
Yeah, Avangar, they sent 1 player down, and Zoekt Een Naam is kind of doing the same thing. Send 1 guy across at a time, try to buy your teammates some sort of room, and then once that first guy is over, he can be the suppressive fire for his teammates. Bjorn got knocked. He was trying to get a bit aggressive, getting an angle on towards the opponents, and this could be the call for Tornado Energy to make the push across. And actually, they're sending their vehicles down forward, but seems like they're stopping on the other side of the road. I was actually expecting them to just full speed send it over towards him.
Oh, they're going to go for it now, though. They're right on the edge. They're seeing it. They're contemplating it. But sometimes you've got to make a decision faster than this, right, when it comes to it. Because you're given all the time for Gamerlegion to put themselves in a nicer fight when they want to actually engage in this.
Yeah, they were within 8 distance. There were a lot of things they could have done, but neither of them were being done. And of course, it doesn't really matter too much. Lipson falls back inside. He was getting shot at by Desperados, but now goes out to peek once again, and once more, bullets are being fired in his direction.
Lipson, I feel like he reloaded too early there. Definitely had a few more bullets he could have sprayed along with. You never know what can happen. You may as well try. But
Leo with the knock on towards Mackin. Now, what is it going to take for Tornado to make the push across? 1 player's knocked. They know that's going to leave 1 to rest, and that should force them to be at most 2 guys up and alive. And that's indeed the case, but seems like they don't really want to commit to the push across here whatsoever.
Oh, D's not going to work out. Phase 5 does far too much damage for you to be running away from. But Nailup's going to continue to push forward. He wants to try this. But as soon as We Need a Home see him, they're likely to take these additional shots. As Rip9 will just die out. While Derek being sprayed at. And that's actually brilliant. Nailup on some cleanup duty before he goes down himself.
That was interesting, to say the least. I mean, they had a chance to rotate earlier, I feel like, whenever the D's died to the blue, and they just never committed to it, and they all lost 2 players to blue, and then Nailup was there to clean up the remaining 2. That's it's an unfortunate set of circumstances for We Need a Home, but hopefully, with 1 more game to go, they'll get something going.
I just assumed We Need a Home. You realise at that point they probably were very unlikely to get in, so you need to just kill him off anyway and get the extra kill point. But
true.
Nope, they didn't want to go for it. But who is still trying to go for it is 4AK versus Tornado. They continue to meet up with each other, and this is not a lot of room for AK. If nades come out towards you and they land in the center, you guys are pretty damn dead. More nades coming out. Nixie's looking for some cover. It's not going to be found. And Gamerlegion are watching all of this go down.
Look at the utility being thrown forward. This one should take out Ronnie. It's going to take him down. That indeed it is. And now Havaki is all by himself. Why use your utility over in the direction of Gamerlegion? We can toss it all into one little shack. Molotov is thrown in towards him as well. And that is going to indeed be 4AK eliminated. But at what cost?
Look at Gamerlegion though. They're rushing on this instantly. Tornado, if you commit too much, we will come and find you. Desperado also taking a few shots at them, and that's Melman going down. These nades continue to go forward, and Tornado, they do not stand a chance.
Everybody full speed forward, engaging in these fights. And Gamerlegion, they've left their vehicles, they've left everything behind, trying to get up and engage in this one. Bjorn swaps on. Oh, got the first finish up on towards Calvin. Now Fake is the next one to be spotted. Reloads the AWM immediately. That's going to be Calvin down, and that's going to be their team eliminated as well. Mise from a distance able to get the finish offs, and that's again what we see with Quickmath. They get the points, but they get them from cover. They don't need to go up close and take these fights. They'll sit there, they'll hustle the points away from your opponents, and that's why they're racking up the points that they are.
They have left example, though, from Tornado. All in his own. He hasn't crossed the bridge yet. He's going to take a few shots. You can see him firing onto Bjorn, who is managing to stay alive, but his position's known, and Tornado will go out in 8th.
Arguably a misplay for him to start shooting there, because I don't think they had any, I don't think they were at all keeping track of the fact that there was still a player on the other side of the road. He could maybe have snuck his way in, but of course we don't know exactly what direction all those Gamerlegion players were looking at the point.
Especially as so many kills came in such a short amount of time,
exactly.
and 3 teams got eliminated during that point. So he was definitely hoping, oh, I can sneak this. I guess maybe they turned and he thought they saw him, so he took the shots.
Yeah.
Very unlucky for him either way, but he did manage to grab at least 1 placement point on top of the kills they had, taking out 4 AK.
Avangar, 3 guys up. Zoekt Een Naam up with 4. We got Quickmath up with 4 as well. And then got Riddle. Riddle getting themselves a 2nd place in that first game. Trying to see if they can get themselves something good going here too.
Riddle have controlled this northern side of the circle for the last 2 phases. They've not been so active on the kills, but they've just been pushing all the other teams away. Now they're going to find a player getting knocked, and Avangar, Asver, and Maxisol, they're pushing up on this as well. They want to see if they can catch the Riddle players completely unaware.
See the circle centering up. Zoekt Een Naam is pretty much the only team that's really well in it.
Oh, Bjorn.
Run from a distance, getting damage done over towards Asver. Can he land the second one? Nope, just a bit too high.
I'm loving his attempts, though. This is nice. Just go for it. Take these shots. You've got the rest of your team to push in. You're in quite a comfortable position as... Oh, Ivor spraying out onto... How does Insolenzo survive? The headshot was landed, 60 damage done, and he will just back away, but more nades going to keep coming out, and Ivor, he knows he wants this kill.
And he's going to get at least the knock coming in immediately there as well. Nade number 2 comes in. That should be the finish off, and indeed it is. Nades now coming in from afar. Will make that smokes potentially. Nope, but there's nades from the remaining 2 players, and Quickmath on the southern side. Tuho is going to be left by himself down by the warehouse. And they have a road to cross here, but seems like Zoekt Een Naam are going to do everything in their power to prevent them from doing so.
I love how Avangar went out of their compound, pushed up on Riddle, then falls back, and it's just caused Riddle to stay in one place now. The circle's going to be chasing them very soon, and they're just having to edge their way forward, but they're going to run out of utility most likely, and that's what Avangar's waiting for, their time to pounce.
Sit tight in the compound for as long as they can, use that hard cover as best as they can, and now... Well, I mean, they have a little while longer. They can do just that. 16 players left alive. Magan has been knocked, but the teammates are there to help. And you can see Hamster splitting off a bit. I like this split they've taken. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say. Trying to, if one position gets compromised, you at least have the other.
Resu is still alive, by the way, Toby.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice that.
He's just behind Avangar on his own. So Aros went for the center position, looked to be having the shack. He dies out earlier, and Resu's saying, ha, I always knew this was going to work out. I've made top 6.
That is impressive. I did not even notice. Now I might have jinxed it because T-Bone is looking over in that direction. Look at this sneaky snake. Even their name has camouflage colors, you know? So maybe that's the thing they're going for.
He's not too far away from getting in, and Avangar are so focused elsewhere as Riddle will fall down in 6th place as more damage is being done, and this is the fight for this ending part. Resu just sneaking forward. He's in. He's done it. He's achieved the dream somehow. And Avangar completely blindsided because they're fighting everywhere else.
There's no way in hell
Imagine if he just takes down one of the Avangar players now. Maxwell's right in front of him.
It would be an error for him to shoot. Unless if shot upon, I do not think he should shoot. Like, unless if he has a 100% confirmation that he's been seen, he should not do anything. Because if Zoekt Een Naam gets Avangar down, they will not look at all anymore in that direction either. So that should potentially be him giving a free ride towards the top 3 placement.
Has been taking a few of these shots. Can't make him connect. The smoke's down there. And he's looking at Ival and Page, but Vansko and T-Bone are the 2 players who are pushed closer up towards him. So if they want to send for it, they're going to be ready to do the damage. As Page will find a nade to connect with him, which is going to give Azvarin a good chance now if they do want to try and push on it. But it only evens this up into a 3 versus 3. More nades continuing to go forward.
Gamerlegion, in the meantime, are enjoying this. They're sitting on the quiet side in the late game. They already have some kills. They don't need that many more. They're sitting in first place coming into it, and they just want to let all these guys that still have enough players alive lose them out so that they can get an easier final fight, potentially.
Moonwolf Rescue, he has found Maxazor, does it, puts an end to him, but 5th place, fair play.
Good effort, gotta give him. Pelsic got down one. He's a solo player in the shack. He's trying to hold off all of Gamerlegion. In the meantime, a knock. They're failing to land the shots needed over towards Zoekt Een Naam.
Maxwell will then find himself going down at the hands of Page. Avangar, you've got to be careful fighting on this many fronts. Huge headshots being landed there, but Anuctive, he's also getting damage thrown back out towards him. And this is where he has to be oh so careful, and it's not going to work out. Anuctive to the zone, and the rest of them go down. Avangar only managing 4th place, but they've done it, Toby. They went off the back of a win into a 4th place with some kills. They've done what they're supposed to do.
Quickmath still alive with Pelsic inside the shack, and then you have Zoekt Een Naam. They got themselves a win here yesterday as well, and now, considering how many fights they've been through already, still 4 guys alive and kicking. Very impressive to see, and I don't know what it is for Zoekt Een Naam and Miramar, but that has clearly become their favorite map. Maybe they don't think so themselves, but that's where they've been able to put off numbers. Don't do that. That was your last nade too.
More nades being used, and they're just coming all out around Pelsic. He knows he's going to get pushed soon. Who's going to be the one to do the damage on towards him? He manages to get the knocks on. Pelsic doing a lot of work here, and this could really upset this final battle. This is not what Gamerlegion wanted. How is he able to still stay alive? Bjorn on low health, and Hamster, he's just having to do some damage from the side. He's coming around to try and take down Zen. Is he able to get any more? Finds himself one knock, but he is heavily under pressure, and he only has 10 health. Brilliant shots being landed there. Pelsic eventually goes down, but Gamerlegion, they are not in a good position.
Pelsic made this so hard for Gamerlegion, and now Bjorn is all on his own. This ain't gonna be easy. It's going to be a 1v2. He does have the AWM. Could potentially get something done there. Vasco is gonna get the confirmation on towards Hamster, and now Bjorn proned up in the flat field, has the longest to crawl, and it ain't gonna be easy for him, but it's doable. We've seen him pull off crazy things before, and there's a chance.
Bjorn, he's not even proned anymore. He's out there, he's being tapped down, the shots come out towards him, and T-Bone, he doesn't miss games like that. He doesn't miss shots like that. He gets himself the win with Zen and 10 kills alongside it. A good step up for them, and like you're saying, we used to praise Zen all the time for their Erangel plays, right? That very military style, heavy tactical, knowing when to regress and choosing their fights wisely. When it comes down to Miramar, they've seen a lot more success this time around.
And I don't know what it is, but clearly there's something that's really working for them on Miramar. Got to give them credit for it. That's 2 days now with wins coming in their direction. And really, I mean, for Resu to stay alive there, he was the one that saved the team when they were engaging with Besiktas. He threw that nade on up. We'll probably see it in just a second. There you go, throws the nade up. And from here, 8 minutes in, 59 players alive, Resu was by himself. And he still managed to get placement points with it. That is very, very impressive to have happened in the games where you talk about you going down early and not being the good game, still managing to get points is so clutch.
And they had 5 kills as well alongside it, which is just that on its own was impressive, let alone him getting those placement points, which, in all fairness, yes, he did the work to do it, but you probably should have never been able to achieve.
Most likely not, no. Interesting game nonetheless. Decisions were made that seemed, I mean, I don't know, Tornado Energy, I feel like they had a chance there to push over towards Gamerlegion a lot earlier than they actually did end up doing, but nonetheless, they did.
This was big from Nail-Up as well. Just the fact he was able to get those extra additional kills off the back of it when everything else was going down around him. This was the error from Tornado as well. And they took the fight with Gamerlegion to start off for so long. Then they wanted to push into this. And they committed so hard to it. And then Gamerlegion just ran straight over them. They're like, oh, you're going to bother with that? No problem.
It's like they got the knocks. They got 2 knocks on towards Gamerlegion players. And then instead of pushing on that, they decided, oh, let's just engage a whole other team that's right next to the team we were fighting just before, so they know where we are too. Had they pushed directly down towards Gamerlegion, Tornado Energy that is, that could have been a fair 4v4, potentially even 4v3 fight had they had the knock confirmed, right? Instead, they decided to completely forget about the full 4-man team that is right there, and then full engage on a shack. And it's like, guys, would you rather engage a compound, 4v3, or would you rather engage a shack where you get third party too?
And it was 2 knocks that Tornado achieved on Gamerlegion at different times. Obviously, they're being brought up, but it both of them they didn't want to commit to. So I guess a bit of communication errors, right? This is when you have to actually be on your A game. We talked about fluid communication being so key, and that's what we're praising Northern Lights for. Well, maybe that's what some of these other teams need to take into account as we look at the standings of that game in particular. And 20 points for Zen, that is nothing to be shy of. But you think Gamerlegion got 10 kills in that game, Quickmath got 6, Moonwolf got 5, Tornado even got 5 kills as well. So high kills games, high stakes games, and Bjorn is going to be the one leading the charge this time around.
Plenty damage done with that AWM in hand for him. Good player, of course, representing Denmark. That's where the best come from, some say. Some would argue Finland because they're just insane. I said Finland.
Yeah, Finland I'll take.
Yeah. They're good.
I'm not allowing you to have your Danish moments here.
I tried. It didn't work. But nonetheless, Bjorn did manage to get himself up into the top, both damage-wise and kill-wise. A good game for him. And keeping Gamerlegion up there in the first place. But Zoekt Een Naam, they're smelling it. They want it. And, well, I mean, if they can get things turned around on Wrangle to be anything close to what they've been able to put off on Miramar,
oh, yeah,
it's going to be really, really, really close. But Gamerlegion, of course, keeping that first place spot for a little while longer. And once again, while everything was close just before, they've made a bit of a gap down towards the teams below.
And look at Quickmath. I said about Besiktas, Quickmath just got 6 kills in that game alongside the 3rd place. And they are not far away from Besiktas, who have now had a 16th and a 14th place. This is where Besiktas, this game, the final game, you guys need to step up.
Yeah, things are getting way too close for comfort if you're sitting up there, because we still have yet another week to play. I mean, if you're Besiktas right now, off of a day, should they go out early on in the next one too, half the games that will judge their total effort next week is going to be on a map where they haven't really been able to put up the numbers that they would want to. Are you really going to put everything into Wrangle next week? Or like, how can you do it? We know they can play Miramar. We know that. We've seen it so many times. It's just, where is it? What's happening?
They need to put it into every game. I think that's going to be the key wording. It's not just the game that is one more game coming for us today. It is all the games coming next week as well. But we're going to a break, as always, ladies and gentlemen. And when we come back, it'll be the 3rd and final game of Miramar for today. Let's see which way it goes down, and let's see if Besiktas can step it up, because there is many teams starting to claw away at the bottom of that standings closer to them.